Wow, matching cheek zits. Not exactly, but pretty close. Is it maskne or is it hormonal acne? The world may never know. Anyway, hi, I'm Katie. Today, I don't think I've ever done a monthly favorites video. I could have checked that before I hit go, but here we are. If you're new here, hi, I'm a whole mess. And if you're not, thanks for coming back. So today, I'm going to do my favorites for the month of February. And this one might be kind of long because I've never done one of these before. And I'm going to include skincare, which is something I've definitely never done because I am not by any means or standard a professional when it comes to skincare. Like, not even a little bit. And if you look at my skin right now, it's not been a good skin time for me for the past like month and a half. And so maybe it might not seem like the, best person to take skincare advice from. But, I get asked a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and put my favorite skincare products in this video as well. Just because I really like them. And even though my skin is not the happiest, it's improving. I figured out what the problem was. I went way too long. I know I've spoken about it before. I am on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. My body stopped producing testosterone. And in case you don't know, yes, women need testosterone. Not as much as men do, but we need it. And I'm only 34 and my body quit making it. So I have to get it from another source. So I use bioidentical plant-based testosterone pellets. And I accidentally let my dose lapse, hence my face falling apart. Yay, estrogen. Anyway, that's why my face is so broken out and has been for the last month and a half. You needed none of that intro. I'm nervous talking. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first, my favorites product. I've tried a couple of these moisturizers by, I think it's Purlisse. Another thing I could have looked up. On a roll. It's Purlisse, the Blue Lotus Balancing Moisturizer. I have a couple of these, and I like all of them. So I like to put this on because I do my eyes first. I like to put this on while I'm doing my eyeshadow, whatever I'm going to do with my eyes, because I just have super dry skin. It's been winter in Washington for a million years, and I live in front of space heaters, and my poor dry skin gets just even more parched during the winter months. So even though I've already done my morning skincare routine before I put on makeup, I really like to let this sit in for a little bit because just makes my skin feel nice. It's just nice to put on. Feels good. I feel like it makes my makeup look smoother. My skin looks less cakey when I'm done. It's just all around positives, So while that sits, let's get into the eyes. It's going to be pretty simple. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure this product came out in January. Man, on a motherfucking roll with the professionalism and information. Nope. But regardless, whenever it came out, the Auric Smoke Reflect cream and eyeshadow duo. I got this in the shade Temper. This is Samantha Ravndal's brand. I love this. I could have eaten before I started. It's too late now. This is the Smoke Reflect Cream and Powder Eyeshadow Duo in the shade Temper. And I am a super huge fan. I really like this. So we're just going to go ahead and slam dunk this on my eyeballs. I don't use an eyeshadow primer when I use this because it's just not necessary. This cream shadow acts as a really nice eyeshadow base. So it's just redundant and I don't do it. Okay, so that's the cream That's the cream eyeshadow down. You can't really, I don't know that you can really tell because my skin is so pink. I don't think you can see it. Maybe you can. Let me know. But now we're going to go, actually, this is not necessarily a favorites, but I am going to use it for the purpose of my eyeshadow look today. We could call it like a potential favorites, mostly because I was not at all excited about getting this palette in my Ipsy bag last month. I was pretty sure I was going to give this away, and then I tried it, and then I was like, nope, that's not going anywhere. So this is the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette remastered, and I'm just going to use a couple shades from it today just for the purpose of, you know, making my eyeshadow look nice. So I'm just going to go in with the shade Cocoa, this one, because I kind of want this to be a little grungier than just the Auric eyeshadows are capable, or this shade are capable of doing by themselves. That's not a knock. I love them. It's just, I want some depth today. That's it. Okay, so I just took that Cocoa shade and really just kind of went wild with it. So now that I got that down, I'm going to go back in with the Auric powder shadow, again in the shade Temper, and I'm just going to put this all over my lid. I just wanted this to have a little bit, this, like I said, the shade is beautiful. It's just that it's a very, very, very natural looking shade on my eyes if I don't add some depth to it. I just wanted it to be a little bit grungier today than it is by itself. And it's no shade. I love this product. Okay, so I just took that Auric shade mostly to like right where my finger is. Like to my pupil, and then I didn't pick up any more product, but I just blended it from there. I concentrated most of the shimmery shade on the inner to like middle portion of my eye. I'm really good at explaining things. Oh shit, I did forget. I got this Patrick Ta lip mask in the shade She's Juicy for Christmas from one of my friends. I would have never bought this for myself. It's nice. It's just that I did, like, something like this is not something I ever think of for myself. But I really like it, and I forgot to put it on. The only thing that I don't like about products like this is that you have to dip your finger in there, and that's kind of gross. So you can leave this on at night and put a whole lot on, or you can just put a little bit on as like a lip balm situation. And since I am made of dust, we're gonna need this. So I just like to let that sit in, much like the moisturizer, while I'm doing the rest of my shit. Okay, next up for primer is the Tula Skincare Face Filter Blurring and Moisturizing Primer. This is a probiotics and superfoods. The bottle is disgusting. Sorry in advance. I love this stuff. I've used this a lot. In fact, I've gone ahead and repurchased it, so I won't be without it. It's a little expensive for me, personally. And you may remember in one of my other videos that I discovered that this is tinted, rather shockingly. I do not appreciate the bronzing sun-kissed effect because on me, I just look sunburned. I do not look bronzed. I look burned. I look like Peppa Pig got left outside. Nary an SPF to her name. But I really love this primer. I wish it wasn't pigmented. I am going to say that. I mean, look at my face is already pinker than my neck and darker than my neck. But this doesn't help. And it gets in my lovely little grays right here. This whole patch, like in both of my temples, I am quite gray. And this stains my grays. Orange, which is everyone's favorite shade. Moving on. Color corrector. I, in the past, have said that I don't like color correctors because I have not the best track record with them. And it's probably me. It's probably that I don't use them correctly. I get frustrated. I can't be bothered to learn how to use them correctly, and then I stop using them. However, this Kimchi Chic Beauty, oh, it's recycling day. The Most Concealer and Multitask Superstar. This is the shade Green. Shockingly enough. At this point, I do also want to point out, I am not the best at concealing breakouts on myself. In addition to not being very good at it, I have kind of just stopped giving a fuck about it because I think I've mentioned this before. I stopped editing breakouts and like fine lines out of my photos a while ago because I realized it was really fucking me up to see edited photos of myself and how good I could look versus how I looked in everyday life, and it was fucking me up. If it doesn't fuck you up, I don't have a problem with Facetune or all those fun little apps that you can zap out every single imperfection that you see on your face. That's fine. That's fine. But it fucks me up, so I don't do it. Please do not hate on this product for my lack of perfecting how to cover breakouts like a magician. I'm not good at it. I've never been good at it, and I don't care. But that's not a reflection of this product so much as it is a reflection of me. But I do really like this. I haven't used a green color corrector in a million years. And I just bought this one because I really like kimchi. And I just wanted to see, you know? So I'm going to put this on all my little cute red spots, the dark ones. And then I'm going to put it in places where my redness kind of looks gross. And we're done! I'm going to go ahead and blend out the places where I just want a little bit of color correction so that they don't get too hard to blend. And I intentionally leave the tip of my nose out of this because I found that one of the easiest ways to make it look like you're wearing not a full mask of makeup is to go a lot lighter on your nose, if you can, than the rest of your face. Okay, so now that the big ones have been sitting for a second, I'm going to go in with a small concealer brush. And I am just going to try and tap out the very edges so there is not... I don't want to disturb too much of the product on the darkest spot where I need it most, but I do want the edges to just kind of be softened just a little bit. There. So now that I look real weird, now I'm going to take the tiniest amount of setting powder, the tiniest amount, and I'm not putting it right here because that's just such a thin layer, but I really don't want these to move. So I'm going to put, I can't even show you how small the amount of setting powder is that I'm going to use. I just don't want those to move. It's a laughably, hilariously small amount of powder to set that. Okay, and it's another Kimchi Chic. It's the same concealer, just in a different shade. This is light beige. Now, I have pretty dark circles under my eyes, and I am so pale, and I really, really, really just don't like a ton of concealer under my eyes. I don't like a lot of products under my eyes. Some of this is lighting, which I also can't get right, but you can see what a difference. Concealed, not. I mean, nothing's perfect, but it's way better. Okay, so that is my concealer under my eyes done. In the past couple months, I have been doing my concealer and then my foundation, and I think I want to go back to doing my foundation first and just using concealer for what foundation doesn't cover, because I'm realizing I'm putting on so much more foundation than I ever have in my life, so much more like foundation and concealer than I ever used to use. I used to use minimal amounts of foundation and concealer. Now I've found myself kind of slipping into the Instagram loads of product on your face that is okay for photography, not great for in person. It's not my look. If you do that, I feel like I say this a lot because I just want to make it clear that I'm one of those people, I don't believe in rules of makeup. I mean, there's certain rules like there's certain rules like sanitization and cleanliness that I 100% believe in. But like, I feel like as makeup has gotten more popular, there's camps that have split off with like, it can only be done this way. Do it however works for you. If you ain't hurting nobody else, I don't give a fuck what you do. Especially not when it comes to makeup. So like, I just want to be clear that just because I say something is not for me, doesn't mean that I have a problem with it for other people. It's just not for me. Personally. And that's the only person I'm allowed to make rules for. I don't know why I got so uppity on that. moving on. Before I do put my foundation on though, I am going to go in with this Auric Glow Lust in the shade Morganite. I really love this too. I did not realize at first I was mixing it in with all like my foundation before I put it across my whole face. And I am noticing that it's darkening my foundation just ever so slightly, which is a bummer because I didn't realize it at first. And this is the lightest shade they made. However, I noticed that it was darkening my foundation because I saw a comment on Twitter that was tweeted at Samantha Ravendall about making a lighter shade than this because it was too dark for this girl. And I was like, it's not too dark. That's not happening to me. I'm super pale and that's not how it is happening to me. It is 100% happening. So, I still love this. And I think if she comes out with a lighter shade than this, that would be great. But I'm still going to use it. So, I'm going to take the tiniest bit and I'm going to tap it where I want it. Because this is where I'm going to put my blush anyway. And it just glows really nicely through my blush. Just putting glitter on a zit right now, man. Just glitter on a zit. What can you do? So you can see that just gave a really nice sheen to the skin. I put it in a couple places on my forehead. Like you can see, it's not right here, but it's just right here, and a little bit on my chin and the high points of my cheeks. Okay, and I do just still have the tiniest bit on my little e.l.f. powder that I'm using as a mixing palette because I can't find mine anyway. I'm going to use the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation. I don't have a favorite foundation right now, or like ever, honestly. So I'm just going to use this one today. Now I'm going to mix those two together really well. Okay, now I'm going to go back in. And you see how harsh this line is? I hate that. I want this to be super smudgy, super smoky. I just like to clean up anything that's like looking a little trailing off in a weird way. Okay, moving right along. The next favorite product for February. It's this Patrick Ta blush in the shade She's Adorable. Look at the bitch. Oh, isn't she adorable? I'm pretty sure in one of my videos, I'm not sure if I've even posted it, but I said something about not needing another peachy pink blush. And that turned out to be a lie. I just didn't know I needed this one. See, look at that. Look at that glow. Now, some of that is this blush, and some of that is that Morganite Glow Lust shining through. Love it. Okay, so even though I've used like mostly moisturizing products and nothing with a matte finish, my skin is so dry that it's glowing a little bit, but I would like to turn that up just a weensy bit. So now is when I would go in with my setting spray / face mist, whatever you want to call it. And this one is the Item Beauty One Hit Prime Set and Refresh Dewy Finish Face Mist. Holy Lord in heaven, I love this. This is so nice. And I'm superfluous with this, man. Like, I use a lot of it. A lot of it. It feels so good on my skin, and it smells really nice, but the scent fades. It says no fragrance added, but it does smell slightly coconut-y. Like it's a less offensive suntan / tanning bed lotion scent. It's a really horrible description because I hate those smells because they're way too strong for me to go on my face. But the scent fades off of this like immediately. You can only smell this while you're spraying it. The scent fades immediately, but it just feels so good on my face. I'm gonna run through this because of how nice it is, and the mist is so fine. It is such a fine mister. Oh, I'm probably gonna go back in with this again later. Just wanted to get a good hefty dose of it in right now. So I'm not putting highlighter, any more highlighter anywhere else on my face, but I'm going to add some to my nose and my Cupid's bow. And so for that, I've really been loving the Nabla Skin Glazing Glass Finish Glow Powder, and this is in the shade Ozone. Woo! So I'm just going to, on my nose, Just the slightest bit. And I'm also going to use this as an inner corner highlight. Moving on to brows. I guess I could show you an updated brow routine because I have changed it slightly. Not, well, I'll change it slightly. So let's get into it. Okay, this is the NYX Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Ash Brown. I just run through those suckers with the spoolie end real fast. I have very stubborn brows that want to stay exactly in the way that they grow, and these will brush up. Okay, this brow, my brow hairs grow down, and they do not want to come up at all. Okay, so I've got those brushed up. Okay, so the slight change in brow routine that you're probably not really even going to be able to see is that I just give a little bit of definition to this underside, and then because I don't like where the points of my eyebrows are, I want them to move out just the slightest bit. I'll change the arch of my brow as well. So let's see if I can show you what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, so I just followed the natural shape of my brow and gave it like a more precise line on the underneath. I do not want the top to be that precise and like sharp though. So what I'm going to do when I get to the top is I'm going to follow the direction my brows already, or the shape my brows already take. I'm just filling in these edges a little bit. And you see that I'm carrying that line past where my brows naturally end. See? Now that I have the arch of my brow moved the slightest bit, I can fill that in and brush it back out, and you'll see. I don't know why I'm getting ahead of myself here. Okay, see how I've given this one a little bit of a tail up here that's not connected anywhere else? So now that I look absolutely insane, now I'm going to take my spoolie, brush through these again. Okay, so I just really want to be careful and mindful of the fact that I'm blending the front of my brow really well, because as much as I like this to be kind of crisp and clean, I do not want the front of my brow to have hard lines. I don't like that style of brow on me. Now that I see where to fill in my brows for this outer edge right here, I've been using the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen in the shade Ash Brown as well. And I'm just going to go add little hair strokes through here. So now you can see this one got a little bit more of a point. They're not, first of all, my brows are never the same shape, ever. They're never stamped on exact same, completely symmetrical. And I don't mind that. I'm not, I definitely don't do the like the lines and then cut your brows out with concealer. I mean, again, I don't care if other people do that. That's just not my jam. So I'm just going to take this brush and kind of, this is my concealer brush, and I'm just going to kind of like clean up, soften some of these edges and take that point off because I don't want that point. One more time for good measure. I'm going to brush through, brush my hairs up again, and just see if there's any gaps anywhere that don't make any sense. Okay, and the last step for my brows is going to be this NYX brow glue. And there's no shade, it just comes in one universal tone. It's clear. This little tiny brush. And I try and do this with like a scooping kind of rolling motion because I really want to get these really stubborn hairs coated because this stuff is pretty stout, and it will hold my brow hairs up as long as there's enough product, but I don't want to do too much because this stuff is very, very, very sticky. The brow glue is a very appropriate name. Okay, just as like a final like boost to keep that shape, I'm going to take this brow pen and I'm just going to kind of roll it lightly to kind of really encourage those hairs to dry, standing up. Okay, so now you can probably see, especially on this brow, that I've lost a lot of pigmentation in here just from my brows are quite dense in some places and then quite sparse on others. So when I brush them up, you can kind of start to see the emptiness right in here. And I don't want to fill them all the way in, but I do just want it to look slightly less gappy, just right in here. So I'm going to take that pencil again. I realize this is a lot, but I don't know how many people spend this much time on their brows. I'm not saying that you have to. This is just what I do. So that's my brows done. That's a new brow routine that takes probably way longer than anybody wants to spend on their brows. So I've said repeatedly that I'm not a mascara person. If it's black and it doesn't transfer and it stays on my lashes and provides any kind of lash definition, then I'm happy with it. Because if I'm really wanting like spectacular looking eyelashes, I'm going to put false lashes on. So I don't have very long, very dense, very curly eyelashes. I don't have anything wrong with my eyelashes. They're just quite short. I would say probably average density and extremely straight. Very straight. So I don't go for like curling mascara, really anything like that. I'm not much of a mascara. This is the simplest way I can say this. I have yet to find a favorite mascara, like ever. And then I got this damn Pat McGrath Labs FetishEyes mascara in my Ipsy bag last month. And damn it, of course I would love an expensive mascara, right? Right. So this is the Pat McGrath Labs FetishEyes mascara. Is there even a shade on this? No, because I'm pretty sure it only comes in one shade and that's black. Of course I would love an expensive mascara. I mean, seriously. Now, never mind the fact that I did totally transfer it onto my eyelid. I'm going to get that in a minute. But look at... Like I'm some kind of eyelash model over here. You're really going to be able to tell that much of a difference. Who the fuck do I think I am? Okay, I'm going to let that mascara dry down before I try and get rid of the transfer off of my eyelids, because otherwise it's just going to make a giant mess. Anyway, all that shit I talked on mascara, and then I get this one. I'm not even sure how much it costs, because it's just going to make me sad that I'm addicted immediately to not drugstore mascara. Oh, wow, we're down to the last thing here. Okay, it's another Pat McGrath product. Sorry. I am new to the Pat McGrath Matte Trance lipsticks. I have 3 shades. I have McMenamy, Polaroid Pink, and Fembot. This is Fembot. This is Polaroid Pink. Pink. Woo! And this is McMenamy. This one might be my favorite, honestly. Shut up. Look at that dark ass red. Anyway, also look at these packages. Oh, there's a nice satisfying click to these. Oh, look at that. The packaging on these are stunning and they have a nice weight to them. Oh. I'm sorry, they're not cheap. I think these lipsticks are normally like $36 a piece. I apologize that I like them. Sorry in advance. But they're worth the money, okay? Okay, I had to think about this for a minute because I really can't decide which lipstick I want to put with this, but I think I'm gonna do the McMenamy, the dark ass red. I love it. Oh god, okay, so that's the makeup done. That's my February favorites makeup done. So now that this has taken a million years, I'm gonna try and run through this skincare a little quick. Sorry. I'm just not the most knowledgeable person. I just know what works for me. I just will try stuff. Like I'll read reviews. I'll try things. If I like it, I repurchase it. If I don't, I either give it to somebody. The only time that I won't finish something I purchased is if it damages my skin or causes me to break out. I do have sensitive skin, so if it just makes my skin feel gross or I don't feel like it's doing anything, I'll try and rehome it. I very rarely throw things away or return things because I know I say this a lot, but I do think it's important for you to know. I understand that sometimes it's just unavoidable, but if maybe you think you can find a purpose for something, try and use it up. Try not to return it to the store because it is going to get thrown away. It is going to get thrown away. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but we currently have a floating pile of trash off the coast of California that is the same size or larger, I think, than the entire country of France. A floating trash island larger than the country of France off the coast of California. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay? So I don't want to contribute to that problem. So I do that and I recycle and I try to make sure that things don't get unnecessarily wasted. I'm not trying to be holier than thou. I'm just saying it takes all of us to fix this problem. So that being said, I'm not an esthetician. I am a licensed cosmetologist, but we spent about 5 minutes on skincare in cosmetology school. First things first, I almost made an Iggy Azalea joke, and I'm not going to do it. But I just want you to know how hard I had to fight that. It was really difficult. I have a couple of products from this brand, and I just want to go ahead and say that overall, I am incredibly impressed with this brand. It's very, very, very inexpensive. You can get it on their website. You can also get it at Target. Really, really happy with their customer service. Their Instagram is great, super educational. They answer questions in the comments, and they have answered me in messages several times. I don't think I have ever left a comment or a message that's gone unanswered. And their Instagram is very educational. So that's where I've learned most of my skincare tips and tricks is from a damn Instagram. And their website, on their website, they have a skin decoder quiz that you can go in and select like 3 skin concerns and click through and answer a couple questions, and it'll suggest some products for you, which not ever knowing what the fuck I need. Thank you. It's Versed. So I have 3 of their products I'm going to talk about really quick. I have the Weekend Glow Daily Brightening Solution. I have gone through one of these and repurchased it. This is 4-berry acid complex. No, excuse me, 4 acid complex plus bearberry extract. I do believe this has... Okay, so it says, I'm a brightening toner. I target dark and post-acne spots with 4 exfoliating AHAs, even skin tone with bearberry, and refine the look of pores with witch hazel. Now, pretty high up in the ingredients is glycolic acid. Being that I have dry, sensitive skin, glycolic acid is wonderful for me, but not every day. I cannot use this every day. I fell into that when I first got this and used it. I used it every day for like 3 weeks in a row, and I was in love with it. I thought my skin was like born again. However, I was just constantly stripping my skin, even though that this is very, 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 very good. My skin never felt bad. I just noticed that it was feeling drier and drier and drier, which was weird because it started initially feeling more and more and more glowy, and moisturizer is great. I mean, the name of this product is Weekend Glow. So I just found that I can't use this every day. I have to use another toner a little bit more. I just use a rose water toner. I just have very dry skin. So if I use this every day and twice a day, forget it. I can't use this every day, but I do love this. And they do have another toner. I think it's called the like baby something. I can't remember. I can't remember, to be perfectly honest, but I want to try it out because it's what was I going to say? Oh, I do want to try their more sensitive, not sensitive skin. It's just, I just want to try their other toner. Oh my God, this is why I don't do this. I'm bad at it. Anyway, moving on. I also have their Dew Point Moisturizing Gel Cream. green tea extract and aloe leaf juice. I hesitated to pick this up for a long time because I didn't know if it was going to be moisturizing enough for my skin. I also have their other moisturizer. I can't remember the name of it. It comes in a pink tub, a little round pink tub. And I really like that one for winter and for nighttime. But this one I really like for daytime. A light jelly-like moisturizer that keeps the bounce in your skin. This feels so nice going on my skin. It smells good. It is very, very soothing. It's very soothing to my skin. I will say my fears of it not being the most moisturizing, it is a gel moisturizer. It's not going to be as heavy or as moisturizing as a cream-based moisturizer is. So I mix it with this. This is the Milani Green Goddess Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil Glow Oil. So I put like 2 or 3 drops in my hand with like a large pea-sized amount of this. Mix them together and put it on my face. That's my jam. I love it. I will say without this, it's not quite moisturizing, and that's being really, really, really nitpicky to say that it's not moisturizing enough. I'm sure in the summer, this will be all that I need. Just living in front of space heaters like I do currently, it ain't. I feel kind of bad mentioning this Milani oil when I know that Versed makes their own oil. I haven't tried it yet. I really want to. It's on my list of things to buy. I'm not one to have redundant things either. Because I just find it's difficult for me to work my way through them. But I do really like this Milani Green Goddess oil. When this runs out, I will buy the Versed one just to see which one I like better, because that's really going to determine which one I continue to buy. As much as I like Versed, I also like Milani, and you know, you just got to try it, find out. So I really love this Green Goddess oil. I bought this in December. I want to say this was $20. And you can see I'm already down to here. I use this almost every day. I use this morning and night. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, one more Versed thing before I move on. Whoops. This is the Versed Just Breathe Clarifying Serum with willow bark extract and zinc blend. This I bought when I didn't realize that I had let my testosterone hormone replacement therapy lapse. So really quick on that, this is so scattered, I'm so sorry. I have to get my pellets updated every 3 to 4 months. For the last almost 3 years, I've been at 4 months, and 4 months has been fine. But because I have Hashimoto's and it went undiagnosed for so long, my energy levels were in the trash can for a long time, and they have been coming up slowly but surely over the last 3 years. Well, now that they're up to where they are now, I've been definitely hitting my gym visits consistently for a long time now, and I have been lifting consistently heavier for consistent periods of time. And because my activity levels have gone up, I am now going through my testosterone a lot faster. They can't increase the dose that I'm on for, well, maybe it's not obvious. Women got to be careful with the testosterone amount. It's why doctors wouldn't previously treat it, because you do have to be mindful of the fact that women taking too much testosterone causes more problems than it solves. Like you can grow facial hair. You can also have acne related to too much testosterone, moodiness, just all kinds of stuff can happen if you go too high of a dose with testosterone. So now I can't go any higher on my dose. I have to up the frequency. Well, I didn't know that. So I went basically a month with super high estrogen and no testosterone. So that's why my face is falling apart, but I didn't know that. So I did buy this to try and see what the hell was going on with my skin. And I will say that at first, and by itself, this is a little drying for my dry skin. That's why I do follow it. I only use a very little bit of it. I do not use it twice a day. I only use it once a day, and I don't use it every day. It did not help because it's hormonal acne. Nothing on the surface is really going to clear up hormonal acne. That's from within. If it's something on the surface of your skin, things that you put on the surface of your skin will help with that. And some things do help with hormonal acne from the outside, but hormonal acne needs to be treated from the inside as well. What this did do is I had a lot of clogged, enlarged pores in my T-zone right here, all in my cheeks, my nose, this part of my forehead, and my chin had really angry. I got a lot more redness condensed in those areas. Those pores were really large. They were showing up. They just weren't looking great. So I will say that this has emptied those pores out really well. They aren't enlarged anymore. They aren't full of crap anymore. So I will keep using this even though it by itself, like if I didn't use the oil with that moisturizer and that moisturizer not being the stoutest moisturizer, it would be maybe a bit of a problem. So just be aware if you have dry skin like me. You just have to use these products in conjunction with something either more moisturizing or just know you gotta like space out using this kind of stuff. I hesitate, and I have hesitated to give skincare advice because everyone's skin is so different, and I am not a professional. I want to say that, and I want to be as clear on that as possible. I can just tell you what worked for me. I cannot tell you that it will for certainty work for you. I'm not a professional, okay? So that, I think, is the first products out of the way. This is another Milani product in their Green Goddess line. This is the Milani Green Goddess Cannabis Seed Oil Sleeping Mask and Primer. I freaking love this. I use this almost every night. If I'm not putting retinol on my face, I'm using this. OMG bus. I have a lot of redness in my skin, and this soothes that redness so well. Like nothing else I have tried. Like nothing else I have tried. This smells great. It feels so nice going on your skin. And when I saw a sleeping mask and primer, I was like, you are going to wash your face in the morning. How the fuck could this be a primer? I get kind of annoyed with like gimmicky stuff. Like, don't tell me this is a primer when I'm going to wash it off in the morning. Don't say that because that's probably BS. I stand corrected. It just softens your face. I don't know what magic happens, but your makeup looks better the day after you use this. I promise. It's the truth. I still moisturize and prime my face before I put makeup on, as you saw. This is amazing. It was $20. I'm pretty sure this tube is infinite. I have had this since well before Christmas. I was as skeptical about this as I could have possibly been. But it works great, and it's only $20. It's only $20, and you get so much in here. I don't know when I'm ever going to run out of this. I don't know when I'm ever going to run out of this, and I use it almost every day. Get you some. Another overnight sleep mask is this Resurfacing Sleep Mask, Overnight Mask with Plant-Derived Retinol Alternative by, I don't know if this is Cocokind or Cocokind. You can also get this at Target. I got this at Ulta. I will say you do not need a ton of this, and it is quite liquidy. Let me see if I can show you the consistency. Do you see how liquidy that is? I'm afraid I'm going to pour it out. I do wish that this came with something to scoop it out because it is so liquidy. I have to like dig into it with my fingernails, which is not the most sanitary. I have a cat here. Oh my God, story of my life. Where is it? I really like this. This is a little stout. If you're new to retinol, do some research, okay? I don't want to encourage anybody to use retinol that doesn't know what they're doing. You have to be careful with it. You have to be careful with skincare in general because you can mix stuff that should not be mixed and give yourself a sweet chemical burn. Like for example, and don't quote me on this. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm just pretty sure. Like I don't think you're supposed to use glycolic acid and retinols together, or is it vitamin C and retinols together? I can't remember See, you just got to be careful. You got to do your research and you got to know what products don't go together because you don't want to give yourself a chemical burn. I can promise you, you do not want to burn your skin. This was a little bit heftier than I anticipated it being. The very first time that I used it, my skin did feel pretty dry the next day. I was a little bit overwhelmed at how potent this was. However, after that, it got way better. I do not use this 2 nights in a row. My skin can't handle 2 nights in a row of this. But when I use this, I have like the tightest, firmest, like plumpest skin the next day. Just can't use it 2 days in a row. I really like to use this one night and then follow it up this the next night. Balance. You know what I'm saying? Do not, for the love of God and everything holy, do not use this on your under eyes. Don't do it. You will have the crustiest, the driest, the flakiest, burning eyelids known to mankind if you get this anywhere in your eye area. Don't do it. Okay? I walked so that you can run. I did that to myself by accident. Oh, holy Lord in heaven. We'll never do that shit again. Just do your research before you're gonna use any like retinol-based stuff, okay? I do really like this one though. I really like this one. And this is like a lifetime supply of it as well because I think this was like $20, $24 maybe for a tub of it. It works really well. I'm really happy with it. I do wish it had like a scoop. I wish it was either in a pump or it had a scooping thing with it, which it does not. And then I think the last skincare and last item, period, is this Knours, I think it's Knours, Skin Meditation Gel Cream. A lightweight, soothing gel cream that keeps temperamental skin under control. Meditate on how good it feels. It does feel very nice. And this actually, so this brand, and specifically this product, are advertised on their website as good for hormonal skin. So like around your period, if you're a lady, or someone who has a period, someone who menstruates, there. Unfortunately, on their website right now, this is completely out of stock and it won't come back until April. So I'm not using this right now, but I try and use this during the week of my period because it really does help. It really does help with hormonal acne. I found even when my estrogen was too high, so I get this weird breakout just right here. You might be able to still see some of the texture of it healing right here. This, like, it's like a triangle from where my hairline recedes right there to the corner of my brow, down it, and back in. Right here stays broken out when my estrogen is high. There's nothing I can do about it. However, I have found that this does help it significantly. Significantly. I wish this wasn't sold out. I will be buying this as soon as it comes back into stock. I'm terrified to use it because I don't have very much left in this bottle, and April's a long time. But it smells nice and like mildly pepperminty. Not a super strong, overwhelming scent. It does dissipate quite quickly. All right, guys, so those are all my favorites, skincare and makeup for now. I will update these as I have them. I guess I'm not going to try and force this. I'm not going to just like scrounge through things and try and force a favorites. I guess I'll just do favorites when I have favorites. How about that? I don't need to inform you about what my plans are, but here we are. Does that sound good to you guys? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if that's okay. Also, let me know in the comments what kind of videos you guys do want to see from me. I do have a couple of ideas, so I'm good for a little bit, but that is one of my biggest struggles, is coming up with things that I think are interesting enough to make a video out of. So if there is anything that you want to see from me, like I said, I do have something scheduled, but it's always good to take requests, and I will try and fill them as well as I can. I am a one-woman show, and I do have to pay for everything that I use, so if it just can't fit in the budget for a little while, then I'll try and remember it when I can fit it back into the budget. I would love it if you would like this video, leave a comment if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel, maybe, if you haven't already. If you have, thank you. If you're one of my supporters, I really appreciate you. If you want to follow me on social media, I'll put those in the description box, along with all the products that I talked about today, all my social media, and yeah. yeah, I think that's it. Oh, really quickly, these earrings are from my friends at the Serpents of Bienville. It's one of my friends' shops. It is in Alabama, but they do have an online store. And they have an Instagram. And you should check them out. Not sponsored, just gonna promote the shit out of my friends. Also, this t-shirt just really needs some recognition, okay? All right? I'm about to show my nerd just a little bit. Like, that's not, like, hanging out at all times. So, get into this. Golden Girls, freaking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mashup. Get out. Get out. I love this shirt. I'm so happy about this t-shirt. If you don't like the Golden Girls, do not follow me. Do not subscribe. Don't even talk to me if you don't like the Golden Girls. And I mean that. You may not get into them, but if you're like, ugh, Golden Girls, you can find the exit. Okay? And I mean that. Seriously. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time. Will it be a week? Will it be a month? Stick around and find out. All right, bye guys.